The beginning.
500 years ago, the world didn't have engines. There were no airplanes, no helicopters, no flying machines. And yet, one man, in a small town in Italy, was already drawing them. His name was Leonardo. He was born in 1452 in a tiny village called Vinci. No university, no fancy education, no elite childhood. He was the son of a young woman who had no status and a father who never married her. Leonardo grew up in a world where your value was decided by the family you came from. But this child was different. He stared at rivers, clouds, animals, and asked the same question over and over. Why? Why do birds stay in the air? Why does light change color at sunset? Why does the human face reveal emotion? Most children play, but Leonardo observed. His childhood was not filled with toys. It was filled with curiosity. And this is where his legend begins. Not in a palace, not in a rich academy, not with privilege, but with a boy in a small rural village who simply refused to stop thinking.
Florence, the birth of a polymath.
When Leonardo reached his teenage years, his father sent him to Florence. Florence at that time was the center of the Renaissance world. Painters, sculptors, engineers, philosophers, all walking on the same streets. And Leonardo entered the workshop of Verrocchio, one of the greatest masters of the era. But here's the twist. Leonardo wasn't good because he followed rules. He was good because he kept breaking them. Most artists painted the world as they saw it. Leonardo wanted to paint the world as it worked. He studied light. He studied the structure of a face. He studied how shadows moved when an object rotated. He didn't want to make a pretty picture. He wanted to capture reality. And slowly, something strange started happening in the workshop. Verrocchio, the master, started asking Leonardo for advice. There's a famous moment. Verrocchio was painting a scene. Leonardo painted only one angel in the corner. Verrocchio looked at that angel and said, "My work is nothing compared to this." The student had surpassed the master. And Leonardo realized something. Art was not his limit. It was only his entry point. What he truly wanted was to understand the machinery of the universe, to understand how everything connects, to understand not just what existed, but why it existed. This wasn't just a painter forming. This was the birth of a multidimensional mind. A mind that would soon try to redesign the world itself.
The Notebooks, machines before their time.
As Leonardo grew, his curiosity became more uncontrollable. He didn't just draw beautiful faces anymore. He opened dead bodies to study muscles and bones. He watched how blood moved, how joints rotated, how the human body was basically a perfect machine. Most people thought this was madness or even sin. But Leonardo didn't care, because to him, truth was more important than tradition. And then, something legendary happened. He started filling notebooks, hundreds and hundreds of pages, thousands of drawings, ideas that were centuries ahead of reality. Helicopters, submarines, parachutes, robots, bridge systems, weapons that wouldn't exist until the modern era. At a time when Europe barely understood basic physics, this man was mapping the future. He wrote backwards, mirror writing, so that people couldn't easily steal his ideas. Not because he was selfish, but because he knew the world wasn't ready. Leonardo believed something very simple. Everything is connected. Art, science, anatomy, engineering, mathematics. They were not separate subjects for him. They were all just different languages to describe the same universe. And this philosophy became his superpower. Leonardo was not defined by a category. He was not a painter. He was not a scientist. He was not an inventor. He was all of them. And that's the secret most people still don't understand. Genius is not specialization. Genius is integration.
Milan, The Last Supper, and The Weight of Time.
Leonardo moves to Milan. A new city. A new ruler. A new chapter. He is hired not just as an artist, but as a military engineer, architect, designer. And it's here that he paints one of the most important images in human history, the Last Supper. But what most people don't know is this. The Last Supper is not just a religious painting. It's a psychological experiment. 12 men learning a shocking truth. And every single face shows a different human reaction. Denial. Shock. Fear. Anger. Silence. Leonardo freezes the exact second when chaos enters the room. He turns a spiritual moment into a study of human nature. But there's a darker side to his genius. Leonardo was obsessed with perfection, and perfection has a cost. He took too long. Years. Always changing, always improving, never fully satisfied. The paint began to decay, even before the wall dried. Time started eating the artwork, while Leonardo was still alive. It was as if the universe itself was whispering to him, "Nothing is permanent. Not even genius."
Mona Lisa, the smile no one could solve.
After Milan, Leonardo kept traveling, new cities, new patrons, new unfinished inventions. He never stayed too long anywhere. He was always searching for something he could never quite define. And then, around 1503, he began painting a portrait. A simple woman, no crown, no armor, no dramatic background, just a woman sitting quietly. Her name was Lisa. But Leonardo didn't paint her like everyone else did. He painted her like the entire universe was hidden inside her. He studied the tiny muscles around the mouth. He layered transparent glazes. He used mathematics to shape a human expression. And that expression became the most analyzed smile in human history, the Mona Lisa. Some say she smiles. Some say she isn't smiling at all. Some say it changes depending on your emotion. Leonardo worked on this painting for years. He kept it with him everywhere he went. Even when kings paid him to create, Leonardo refused to give it away. Because Mona Lisa was not a job. Mona Lisa was his unanswered question. The smile that he could never fully solve. The masterpiece that stayed forever unfinished. A mirror of Leonardo's own life. Brilliant, beautiful, obsessive, and never complete.
The End and What Remains.
Leonardo spent his final years in France. He worked for a king. He had money, respect, a peaceful place to think. And yet, he still felt like he didn't do enough. When he was dying, Leonardo apologized to God and said, "I have offended God and mankind because my work did not reach the quality it should have." Think about that. The man who reinvented half the world felt like he didn't do enough. Maybe that's the truth of genius. It's not about finishing everything. It's about never losing the desire to discover. Leonardo died in 1519, but his notebooks, his drawings, his wild, impossible ideas, they continue to shape our world. He designed flying machines before the world had engines. He explored human anatomy before doctors understood biology. He imagined robots before electricity existed. He lived hundreds of years ahead of his time. And maybe that's the real lesson here. We don't need permission to explore. Human curiosity is the most powerful force we have. So look at your own life for a moment. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need someone to tell you you're ready. You don't need approval. What you need is the courage to start exploring what you already feel inside. Leonardo didn't wait for the world to understand him. He created anyway. Maybe that's why he still lives today. Not in a museum, not in a history book, but in every person who chooses to follow their curiosity.